Good morning and welcome to the news at 7. On the news this morning, after years of tussle, Ihiala community gets new monarch. Teachers urged to remain committed to molding characters of children handed over to them. President Buhari's ministers to stay in office till May 28 after failing to dissolve cabinet during yesterday's valedictory session. As impeachment talks of U.S. President Trump escalates, House Speaker Pelosi accuses White House of cover-up. Governor Willie Obiano has asked traditional rulers in the state to establish special mechanisms to monitor the activities of youths in their communities. Governor Obiano was speaking while presenting certificate of recognition to the traditional ruler-elect of Ihiala, Igwe Thomas Obidiegwu. Government House correspondent Ejika Bana reports that the presentation was made at the Governor's Lodge, Amobia. The report.
The event was attended by notable traditional rulers in the state, led by the chairman of the State Traditional Rulers Council, Igwe Nemeka Achebe of Onitsha. Governor Obiano said that the move has become imperative due to the ravaging effects of cult activities in communities across the country, urging them to introduce programs to meaningfully engage the youths. Governor Obiano congratulated the new traditional ruler, asking him to use his new position to bring the people of Ihiala together, but shunned acts capable of creating divisive tendencies.
You see this certificate given to you as a unifying factor, so you have to go back to all the people of Ihiala and win them back to your side. That's why you're the father, and the royal father for that matter. I also want to advise you, we've had a lot of challenges in Ihiala lately because of cultism. It's not only Ihiala, but Ihiala appears to be peculiar. So I want you to set up a special department in your cabinet that will oversee the activities of youths in that area. It will go a long way in helping the state. And the same thing I'm telling all the Igwes, they need to have a special team in their cabinet that will dedicate themselves to the activities of the youths.
The Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Chief Greg Obi, traced the history of the years of tussle which led Governor Obiano into setting up a panel of inquiry presided over by former Anambra State Secretary to the state government, Chief Paul Odenibo. Commissioner Obi, while stressing that Ihiala Chieftaincy remains one of the oldest traditional institutions dating back 700 years, pointed out that written and oral submissions by members of the community have been gathered, out of which government report was drawn, commending Governor Obiano for his result-oriented leadership style.
Excellency, the Anambra cannot thank you enough. Personally, I can't thank you enough for the way you go about this leadership situation in Anambra State. It looks easy, but it's not easy. The way you're doing it, and the state is benefiting, and Ekene Kamwe in Apokodike.
Speaking, the chairman of the State Traditional Rulers Council, Igwe Nemeka Achebe, stressed that only one person can be the traditional ruler of a community per time, reminding them that Ihiala belongs to him, just like he belongs to Ihiala. As such, should carry everyone along.
So thank God for that. Unu follow when I go to when I can. Look on the central level and I want to level. Look at when I go at the state level. So now, when I'm going to be here, Anambra State.
Traditional ruler of Ihiala, Igwe Obidiegwu, expressed joy and gratitude to God, his community members, and state government, promising to unite his community, working with government and other stakeholders. Speaking to the ABS, a stakeholder in Ihiala and Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Mr. Sidon Adenoba, members representing Ihiala Constituency 1 and 2, Mr. Chidi Udemado and Dr. Pascal Abodike respectively, congratulated the new traditional ruler, while promising they will stand behind him to ensure his success in accordance with state laws. Presentation of certificates as well as traditional performances featured at the event. From the Governor's Lodge, Amobia, Ejike Abana, ABS News.
Meanwhile, Governor Willie Obiano has called for a concerted effort towards building a more conducive environment for businesses to thrive in the state. The governor made the call during a one-day workshop on improving the ease of doing businesses in Anambra State, organized by the World Bank in conjunction with the state government for relevant stakeholders in the business sector. Correspondent Emmanuel Okonkwo was there. His report.
Governor Obiano, who was represented by his deputy, Dr. Nkemo Okeke, pointed out that the state can only switch from the recent rank as the 5th most improved state in terms of doing business to first and be made more attractive to investors through a collective effort and hard work. The governor called on relevant stakeholders, especially the Anambra State Investment Promotion and Protection Agency, ANSIPA, to remodel their pattern of operations to attract more investors and increase the state's internally generated revenue, which he disclosed is recently at less than 2 billion naira per month.
I'm begging and pleading with everybody, all the stakeholders, all the administrators, the NDAs here present, to let's work harder. Let's try our best to make sure that we make people comfortable when they come to our state to do business.
Speaking earlier, the State Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budgets, Mr. Mark Okoye, while saying that the workshop enabled them to take stock on their achievements so far as it concerns the state's economy, appealed to the World Bank also support the state in terms of technical and financial resources.
The creation of this committee of the council and the holding of this workshop, it affords us enough time, the next 3.5 years, to really get our boots, tie up our boots, get everyone on board, and start implementing these reforms.
In her remarks, the World Bank representative at the event, Lady Nneka Ekwozo, recommended annual mock assessment as the best way the state can assess its effectiveness and achievements in the business sector, and assured the state of the World Bank's continuous partnership.
I want the state to be encouraged that it is definitely possible to obviously improve. We gave recommendations on what would be done, some are short term, some are medium term, and some are long term.
Also speaking, the State Head, Corporate Affairs Commission, Barrister Ezekwesili Onwumbiko, said the commission will assist the state to get unregistered business and industries operating in the state registered so as to boost the state's IGR as well as the living standards of the people. In Oka, I am Emmanuel Okonkwo, reporting for ABS News.
And now to the education sector. Teachers in the state have been encouraged to put in more effort in molding characters and destinies to secure a better society for the future generation. Anambra State Deputy Governor Dr. Nkemo Okeke gave the encouragement at the Government House, Oka, when pupils of Viftes Royal Academy Crèche, Nursery and Primary School Umunoke, Oka paid him a visit in his office. Correspondent Emmanuel Okonkwo was there and now reports.
During the visit, Deputy Governor Okeke took time to interact with the children who were surprised and happy to see and chat live with the state's second citizen. Addressing the pupils who were accompanied by their teachers, Deputy Governor Okeke, who described education as a key to success, said the present administration will continue to invest in the education sector, calling on teachers in the state to always play their role as expected of them to help the government secure a bright future for the children.
We need to continue to lay foundation. Education is key to success. We must start early to make sure that kids participate in every educational process, except from nursery, primary, secondary, all the way to the tertiary.
Speaking earlier, the proprietress of the school, Lady Nonye Nwogbo, commended the Obiano government for carrying private schools along in the state in its quest for greater height in the education sector, disclosing that the visit was aimed at exposing the pupils to governance and inspiring them to pursue and see their various dreams as realizable.
For them to be face to face with the people in power, for them to know that they can see them, that they can also aspire, because the deputy governor was once as young as they are, that one day they might also have the ambition to be in governance. So this will kind of motivate them to know that the sky is not even their limit.
From the government house in Oka, I am Emmanuel Okonkwo, reporting for ABS News.
12 Enugu boys have been appointed environmental youth ambassadors. The Anambra State Commissioner for Environment, Architect Michael Okonkwo, gave them the special recognition for keeping the environment clean. Correspondent Ejika Bana reports that the commissioner had a short parley with the boys in his office at Jerome Udoji Secretariat Complex, Oka. The report.
Recall that the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Anambra Broadcasting Service, Chief Uche Nwora, took to his Facebook social media handle to celebrate the boys who he met cutting grasses on the village pathway out of their own will, an act that drew his attention. The boys attend Okutalkwe Community Secondary School, St. Teresa's Secondary School, Ide Secondary School, and Good Child Secondary School, all in Enugu, while 2 others attend Nnamdi Azikiwe Secondary School, Abagana, and Community Secondary School, Umokbo, but reside in Enugu. Commissioner Okonkwo explained that the move was to encourage Ndi Anambra to engage in environment-friendly activities, saying that the ministry appreciates the trend where people come up to do things on their own without being coerced. Architect Okonkwo commended the President General of Enugu, who was first to take the bull by the horn to organize grassroots environment sanitation after the ministry's meeting with ASATU, which he said must have gingered the boys.
Actually, I'm very, very excited today. Young people who on their own had organized themselves to clean up the environment. And here I want to truly thank the MD of ABS, Uche Nwora, who actually discovered them.
I recall that on Saturday, I visited my hometown, and as I was driving, I noticed that all the bushes, all the shrubs in the village, had been cut. And I was really excited and impressed. I started asking around, I said, who did this, And they pointed me to some young kids, secondary school children, from my village. And I now called them and I spoke to them, and I was really impressed that they could take this on themselves.
I'm going to do. We and the ministry are so grateful to make us the fundamental lessons. Being grateful. Thank you.
The Director, Environmental Health and Pollution Control, Mrs. Edith Ike, and the Environmental Health Officer in the Ministry, Mrs. Theresa Nwafo, hinted that the boys have automatically qualified to take part in the quiz competition they are organizing ahead of the National Environment Day, warning that the Ministry is already embarking on door-to-door inspection and that they are poised to sanction defaulters according to the dictates of the state laws. The Commissioner empowered the boys with materials such as overalls, face masks, rain boots, and gloves to aid their community cleanup activities. In Oka, Ejike Abana, ABS News.
Still to come on the news, President Buhari's ministers to stay in office till May 28 after failing to dissolve cabinet during yesterday's valedictory session. As impeachment talks of U.S. President Trump escalates, House Speaker Pelosi accuses White House of cover-up. More stories after this timeout.
Pay your tax, Anambra State go better. If you pay your tax, Anambra State go better. For good road, hospital, electricity, and good schools, help government to help you. Pay your tax,
Good road, good school, better hospital with medicine, light, water, all these things, we dey like them. Our people say soup wey sweet na money. Government they do im own to make sure say all these things wey we need for Anambra State say we get them, but we get our own part of what. Now, as good citizens of Anambra State, we dey like better thing and we love Anambra State, we supposed to pay our tax. Tax no be money wey we dey dash government no be money wey we dey throw in. Tax na our own contribution to the betterment and development of Anambra State. So pay your tax today.
Anambra State go better. Make you dey pay your tax, Anambra State go better.
Despite the valedictory session held yesterday for members of the Federal Executive Council, FEC, President Muhammadu Buhari has failed to dissolve the cabinet till the end of the administration. Though the president had at the valedictory session said that yesterday was to be the last time they will meet before the commencement of the second tenure, he directed the ministers should still be working till May 28 before handing over to the permanent secretaries of their various ministries. He also directed the ministers to submit their handover notes to the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF, on the same May 28, which is the eve of the second tenure that starts on May 29. The Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC) has announced 40 million naira endowment fund for Bayero University Kano and Federal University of Technology Owerri for research and development. Announcing the endowment, the executive vice chairman of the commission, Professor Umar Dambata, said the gesture was in line with the ideals and mandate of the commission to enable research institutions actualize their potentials in the knowledge economy. He explained that the amount will be shared 20 million naira each to the two institutions in the 2019 academic session, while the commission plans for other potential beneficial institutions in the coming years. He urged beneficiaries to channel the fund to objectives it was meant for and challenged the students of the institution to seize the opportunity to actualize their potentials. He assured them that the commission will do more if the objectives for the funds are realized. United States House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has said that President Donald Trump is engaged in a cover-up as he and his administration have blocked Congress from obtaining testimony and documents for their investigations. Her comments came as calls by Democrats to open an impeachment inquiry grow louder. Nearly a dozen out of 24 Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee, which has the power to conduct impeachment proceedings, have voiced support for opening an inquiry. Most of them have only come out in favor for initiating one since Monday, coming in the wake of Representative Justin Amach backing impeachment proceedings over the weekend. Many Democrats have grown increasingly frustrated with the president and his administration with their efforts to defy multiple congressional subpoenas for testimony and requested documents, and those who are not yet on the impeachment train said the administration's obstruction could soon push them over the edge. Democrats who don't sit on the Judiciary Committee also came out in support of opening an inquiry, including Representative Kathleen Rice, a frequent Pelosi critic. Kenya's former athletics team manager Michael Rotich has been banned for 10 years for agreeing to provide advance notice to athletes of doping tests in exchange for money, the IAAF announced yesterday. Rotich was exposed by two undercover journalists from the Sunday Times in an article published in August 2016 and was sent home in disgrace from the Olympic Games in Rio, which were underway at the time. He was also provisionally banned by the IAAF from his coaching job. In a statement, an IAAF ethics board panel said Rotich had offered to warn athletes of impending tests so they could flush doping substances from their system in order to circumvent tests. He also offered to provide excuses which athletes could use to avoid being penalized for missing tests. The two Sunday Times journalists, posing as the sports manager and coach of a fictional British athletics team, met Rotich 3 times in early 2016, according to the ethics panel. Remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by liking our Facebook page at ABS Radio Television. You can subscribe to our YouTube at youtube.com/ABS Radio TV Online. Follow us on Twitter at ABS Radio TV and on Instagram at ABS Radio TV. You can also log on to our website at www.absradiotv.com. Now the main points again before we go. After years of tussle, Ihiala community has got a new monarch. Teachers have been urged to remain committed to molding characters of children handed over to them. President Buhari's ministers to stay in office till May 28 after failing to dissolve cabinet during yesterday's valedictory session. As impeachment talks of U.S. President Trump escalates, House Speaker Pelosi has accused White House of cover-up. And that is the news at this time. Good morning, Anambra continues right after now.
This is ABS.